Well, on today's episode, we're just going to focus once again with one review for today. And this one is from Josh Barnett's Bloodsport Bushido that took place in Japan this past weekend. Now, of course, if you guys are not familiarized with this type of show, I'll explain it to you when we get to the review. And then, of course, we cap up with our episode with some news updates talking about what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, do the Nagasaki Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside, it's time to rock and roll. So let's begin with our only review for today, and that is, of course, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport Bushido. Okay, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport Bushido. Now, if you guys are not familiarized with this event, many of you who are GCW fans, of course, know what this one is. Now, Bloodsport is basically kind of like from the movie that John Claude Van Damme appeared, Bloodsport. Basically, this is where it's kind of like full contact. You win either by submission or knockout, possibly pinfall, however you want to. But however, normally we see submission and TKO. Now, many of the Bloodsport events took place here in the States, most specifically either in any city, especially when it comes to WrestleMania week. There is another Bloodsport event coming up later on this year, but this is their first show that they brought to Japan. This was in months of preparation. This is something I think I enjoy. Now, we have seen many wrestlers that participate in this type of event. There are some names you may or may not be familiarized, but I will mention the wrestlers, the competitors, and who you have seen competed in what promotion. So, the show opened up with an amazing performance with taiko drummers. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, it's these taiko drummers like boom, 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 boom. They're awesome. I actually played not officially, but I was learning how to play taiko drums for a couple of months, but due to some unfortunate circumstances and other things, it kind of prevented me from continuing on, but it's fun. But yeah, so the performance was great. I enjoyed it. Now, our first match, we have Yu Iizuka, who you guys may have seen in GLEAT. I mentioned him a few times, versus Fuminori Abe. So, Fuminori Abe, he's a freelance wrestler who has wrestled in All Japan, various promotions. But he is suitable for this. Now, Yu Iizuka has participated in many UWF style events, especially in GLEAT. So I thought it would be perfect. But however, when it comes to Fuminori Abe, he is like the most experienced wrestler in this type of field. But it was him with the win with a leg lock that put away Iizuka, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next two match are part of the Bloodsport Bushido tournament. So, our first match we have Hideki Suzuki versus Hikaru Sato. So, of course, these guys are familiarized with each other. They have bumped in mostly in All Japan, but it was a pretty good match. Now, don't forget, Sato does have ways to escape submissions. That's always been his specialty. But when it comes to Suzuki, he is the master of that. He basically knows ways how to escape, how to put holds, that sort of thing. But he was able to put Hikaru Sato in a in the STF, forcing him to tap. So I thought it was a pretty good win, just like that. Now our second match involving the tournament, we have, of course, Fuminori Abe's tag partner Takuya Nomari taking on Eric Hammer. Now I haven't seen Eric Hammer for a while. We have seen him in various depth matches and all that, but it was great to see him. Um, um, Nomura actually, he is one of those wrestlers seen involved in UWF styles where he is a much stronger competitor. But however, this match ended in a TKO when Hammer applied a power bomb, and just like that, it was over. It was called off by the ref saying it's over. You know, he wasn't moving that much, so it was like already out. So they proceed, but of course, Hideki Suzuki and Eric Hammer will participate in the final of the tournament. We'll get to that in a bit. Now, our next match, we have the women taking on. We have Maya Fukuda. As you all know, I mentioned her in the last episode in the news updates. It was announced that she'll be leaving GLEAD, and this event was her last performance that we see. She faces against the submission sniper, Konami. Now, of course, I feel Konami has more of the experience and all that. I've seen her, what she can do. Now, Fukuda, I'm not going to take anything away from her. She is an amazing martial artist. She is trained in karate. But it wasn't enough to put away Konami when she applied a leg lock. And just like that, Fukuda had no choice but to tap. Our next match, we have Davey Boy Smith Jr. That's right. Davey Boy's the British Bulldog's son, and of course Bret Hart's nephew. He takes on against Masakatsu Funaki. Now, I have mentioned him before. We've seen him on Pro Wrestling Noah a few times, but he has that kind of mentality in a mixed martial arts status type. But one thing that was surprising is this. Now, those who know Davey Boy Smith Jr., you know about his family lineage. As you know, he is um, Stu Hart's grandson. Well, he tried to apply the sharpshooter onto Funaki, but however, Funaki countered it and then applied a leg lock himself. He just somehow was able to counter it by moving his body around to switch it into a leg lock, forcing Davey Boy Smith Jr. to tap out. I thought that was incredible. So what a way for a win. Now, we took a brief pause involving in this particular match. We had, of course, like the ceremony for a something featuring Yoshiaki Fujiwara. I've seen him many times. He's a veteran wrestler who can still wrestle, but not like in his prime, but he gets the job done. He was presented with a bouquet of flowers and some sort of award. Kota Ibushi was there too. He gave him some sort of award, and a guy named Akari Maeda, who actually was there giving him a bouquet of flowers. So I don't know what's the occasion of that. I wish there was some English commentary involved in this, but it wasn't. But it was a great ceremony, so nothing less. Now, our next match, we have Hideki Shrek Sekine. He takes on someone, many of you guys, if you're MMA fans, you know this guy too well. Quentin Rampage Jackson. That's right, the same Rampage Jackson. You may have seen him on TNA before. He made his appearance here as well. But you probably would think, okay, this is going to be a very interesting thing. But it was, of course, Rampage when he was kicking right in the head of of Shrik's head, just completely knocking him out. And the referee had no other choice but to call the match. It was completely over, and he won by like that. And of course, Rampage did a promo talk about the people of Japan, and he was grateful for Josh Barnett to get him back on track to get himself in shape for this event. Hopefully, we get to see him more. Now, our next match we have, of course, Santino Marella versus Kazushi Sakuraba. Now, many of you who don't know, Santino Marella is an MMA expert. He knows how to do this thing. He does have an MMA gym in his home country of Canada. So basically, it's been talked about that. But how would this match end? Well, I wasn't too sure, but there was a moment where we saw Sakuraba trying to do the Cobra. So he was trying to mock him. I'm not sure, but it was Sakuraba with the Kimura lock that put away Santino Marella and forced him to tap out. Now, our next match, we have Timothy Thatcher taking on Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki. Now, you all know Suzuki. I don't need to give you guys a whole lot of introduction. But you know how Suzuki is when it comes. He has done it all. I mean, a guy of his age, you know he can still kick ass. He is still the most scariest person on the planet. But it only took a Gotch-style pile driver for him to win by TKO. And just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, this is the semifinal. This is part of the Bloodsport Bushido tournament, and this is, of course, featuring Eric Hammer and Hideki Suzuki. Now, this was a very tough battle for Suzuki. Now, you're taking off a much stronger competitor. Now, Eric Hammer was about to apply a power bomb the same way he did with Nomura, but however, Suzuki was able to divert it and then won by submission, which was a much simpler way to ensure his win, and he get his award for winning the tournament. I don't know what he gets out of it, but fantastic win. Now, our next match, this is like a bit of a rematch from previous time. Jon Moxley taking on the boss of Bloodsport, Josh Barnett. Now, Josh Barnett did lose to Moxley once before, and this is basically Moxley, Barnett trying to get payback for that loss. And you know they were not going to hold back. There was blood coming out from Moxley. He kept fighting and fighting, but however, it was over until Moxley was like pounding his head, and the ref had no choice but to call it. And just like that, it was completely over. Then Moxley put out a promo, talk about this thing with Bloodsport and everything else, but hopefully we'll get to see more of these guys coming back to Japan. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good excuse me, but it was a pretty good fun match, I'm not gonna lie. But that's pretty much what happened. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for our review. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with, of course, upcoming events with the promotions. This is a very short one with two of that. As you know, we have the collaboration between three promotions for the Untouchable event featuring West Coast Pro, Deadlock Pro Wrestling, and Prestige Wrestling. And this event will take place on the 20th of July. Now, it was announced that the West Coast Pro Championship will be defended. The current champion, Kevin Blackwood, will defend it against Robbie Eagles. That's right, the same Robbie Eagles from New Japan. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, GCW announced for night one of Homecoming in Atlantic City on the 24th of August. We have the GCW World Title will be defended in a ladder match in a three-way. We have the current champion Lance Warner versus Blake Christian, the former champion, and of course Joey Janela, another former champion. So basically, Blake Christian will want to reclaim what was stripped from him Joey Janela wants this belt so badly because he did not held it long, all thanks to Matt Cardona's shenanigans. But we'll see what happens until then. Now let's jump into some interesting developments. Those who know these sisters in stardom, Hanan, Rina, and Hina, uh, originally these ladies are born from the uh, area in Tochigi Prefecture called Shimosuke Suke City, and they were appointed as the Shimosuke Cheer Ambassadors. Well, that's a great thing for these sisters in their hometown, so that's great for them. Many of you may remember this guy, Mordecai, or better known as Kevin Thorn in ECW. Uh, as you all know, probably many of you wondered what he's been doing in his post WWE life. Well, he is now into real estate, so he, in fact, he he lives in Indiana, Fishers, Indiana, as a real estate agent. So, good for him. So we'll see where that goes. Now, Zack Gibbs, as you know, this past Monday we saw the arrival of the Wyatt Sick, which led by Uncle Howdy. Now, of course, there was a lot of people that were emotional towards this event. I have to say, I'm not gonna, how do I say it? I'm not gonna take anything back from it. I mean, it was a pretty amazing revealment, and I'm not gonna, deny it. However, you got people like, of course, Zack Gibson, who knows one of them, Joe Gacy. As you know, Joe Gacy is involved with the White Sick, and he had something to say about it. Let me pull that up for all of you. Here it is. This is what Zack Gibson said. The role was made for Joe, and I think he's going to absolutely smash it. The whole faction looks brilliant. It's a perfect role for him. We are just were made up for him. So basically, he knows that this role was meant for him. I mean, why not? So there's that. Now, you guys may have known this guy, Too Cold Scorpio. Well, unfortunately, this guy got arrested, and this was a report coming from TMZ, and this is what they're saying. Too Cold Scorpio was arrested on June 15 for stabbing a man during a gas station fight, which he claimed was acting in self-defense. The incident happened on around 3:40 a.m. at Love's Travel Stop in Kansas City, Missouri. He has been hit with 2 felony charges, 1 count of first-degree assault and 1 count of armed criminal action. The court records show after bonding out, he pleaded not guilty to these charges. He's due back to court for a hearing in the case next month. Now, of course, if he claims that this was a self-defense, it's going to be a difficult way to prove it. But we do know that he is scheduled for next in August to go to Japan. So I'm sure GCW will be sticking close to it. So we'll see. Now, interesting news about this. Many of you know this. I reported this on the last episode about Kayla Braxton, where it was announced that she'll be leaving WWE. However, Dave Meltzer put this out. So tell me what you guys think. He says that Kayla definitely was talking between her and AEW. I was told she could be the writing. She could see the writing on the wall. Pretty much decided that Kathy Keller and Jackie Raymond were going to be the number 2 ones. She was number 3, so I think that she's kind of maybe in this time to somewhere else. Okay, this was a report coming from him, his speculations. However, much like what we saw what happened when it came with him talking that, WWE and Triple have been talking, that was not 100% true. Well, some of you may say Dave Meltzer is full of shit. Yeah. Apparently, Kayla Braxton heard about this, and this is what she had to say. If I wanted to keep working in wrestling, I would not have been walking away from the biggest wrestling company in the world. Nice try, rumor weeds. Okay. I see what Dave Meltzer was thinking. You think, he's saying, from his own words, the Kathy these two other ladies are at the top, and she's down here, and that she made up her mind. I'm out because I'm not going to go at the top. It seems like that's not the case. I don't know where Dave Meltzer speculated things. I really hate speculations. You guys know why. Speculations are stupid. If you want to know why she's leaving, get the source. Act like freaking Sean Ross Sapp. That's the thing the Meltzer needs to do. Stop speculating crap that you don't know. You know? People like to speculate. I mean, who could forget? People speculated that Brody Lee died from his wounds in that dog collar match he was involved with Cody, which was a load of horse crap. That wasn't true. We learned what happened to him, and it was not true. So stop speculating what you think you know. Get the sources out of the horse's mouth. So, look, I have no problems towards Dave Meltzer, but what irritates me and many other people, get your story checked. Don't believe what you think it is. If you know people that know people, call them. But I just hope he doesn't screw up again for whatever report he finds. So that's all I have to say. But as of right now, I believe it's time for us to call it a day. Okay. I hope many of you guys enjoyed this episode. Sorry I couldn't put another review, but there was some certain circumstances that were unable to prevent me to do that. But I was able to get this whole Bushido, Bloodsport Bushido out of the way and hopefully move on to the next. Now, I'm still behind with 3 shows of Mighty Gold, Choco Pro, and Got to Move. I think Pro Wrestling Noah as well. But nonetheless, I'll catch up to those. But as for our top priority, it's NXT, but we'll see how the rest of the next episode will go. Because right now I'm going to be heading to work in the morning. So by the time this video is out, we should be in the morning or not. But we'll see. But as of right now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.